Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to neverlastracing here for round number 6 of the neverlastracing Esports League here for season 2. We're at the Brazilian Grand Prix, and you may be hearing a very different voice right now, but don't worry about it, it's all good guys, it's all good. But I am Ivor Mike, going to be taking you through the action, and joined alongside me is FVR Feynman. How are you doing, mate?
I am doing really well, mate. Thank you. Thank you guys very much for having me. And I'm looking forward to this race, to this qualifying session. And I think it will be a beautiful one because we're racing at Brazil, which is probably my own favorite track. So I think this will be a very wonderful race.
Yeah, absolutely. As a track like Brazil, a lot of difficult curves to kind of master. Now you get a little bit pinched on turn 4, you can spin that car very easy.
Yeah, it has definitely got a few tricky corners, but also a few similar corners, a lot of hairpins, but also a few corners where you want to take a lot of speed, and also out of the corners. So that means that you need a stable back end of the car, but also you need a car that's able to turn in and accelerate out of those sharp corners, which we will hopefully see all the drivers.
Yep, hopefully we will see all the drivers taking full advantage of this track, as it looks like Julian's going to be the first one to get us underway here in qualifying. So coming up to the DRS line, and he has opened DRS to get us underway around this 4.3 kilometer track. Now breaking down into turn 1, keeping it nice and tight through the curves as we go over turns 2 and 3 to open DRS once again down towards turn 4. First sector saying it's a 16.8 in the first sector for Julian, as we go through turn 4 and turn 5, climbing up the hill now. A bit of an elevation change here as we go through turns 6 and 7. Keeping it all nice and calm, breaking down for more elevation change as we go through turns 8, 9 and climbing back up the hill once again towards turn 10. Looking very clean from Julian so far as we go through turn 11, where the back end can step out on you as we break down now into turn 12, the last actual braking zone of the track. Now up through 13, 14, 15 as you climb up the hill. DRS wide open. What's the benchmark time going to be? It's going to be a 1:08.7. A good lap there from Julian. Immediately beaten by Larkin. You are lagging on my end. Fine with mate.
Need to rub in the track and get some track temperatures on it, but as you said, Larkin has done a lap as well. He's just beat Julian for the pole position spot by only 300ths of a second, so it's not a lot, but I think those times will be going down a lot once the track starts to rubber in.
Yeah, I'm currently on board with VR Lars in the Red Bull, and he's on the set of the Greenwall tyres for me. I'm hoping that he's this is just a visual glitch. He's not actually on those tyres, but
he's burning a set of inters, so he has one more set for the other qualifying session, and for the race he already spun in turn 3 and he spins now again. But in the official F1 Esports they do this as well, and I don't think there are any rules against it in the NLR Championship. But let's go on board with DTR Dimix then, because he is on an actual lap on the soft tyre, so I expect this to be a somewhat more competitive time than someone who spun 2 times on the intermediate tyre. He will be keeping it short, going towards the line here. Can he beat the time that Larkin set? He can with a 1:08.501. And that means that he is nearly 2/10 quicker, and it seems like the track is already starting to improve.
Yeah, as I believe the next person well, it's not going to be Noxie, but I believe Russell has just started a lap, so we'll jump on board with Russell as he comes down towards the sector 1 split. 16.9 in the first sector, a little bit off of what we've seen at the top end so far, but middle sectors where you can gain everything and lose everything, in my opinion.
Yeah, it definitely is with the corners there. And the track being a bit tricky, but you can see that Russell is all taking it very well. He's not pushing it to the limits here because the track is still unpredictable. You practice in time trial or in short qualifying sessions, and you have so much more grip. And you can really see that the car is fighting to make that apex time after time after time. Noxie only goes 3 seconds slower than Julian, to be fair, on a set of inters, which I find very impressive as well. But we can see a purple middle sector for Russell. I don't know if that's still a visual glitch or if he's actually gone fastest in the middle sector, but we can only find that out really shortly once he goes across the line. Can he beat the time of Dimix? He can with an 8.262.
That's a very impressive lap there from Russell, and well, I look to jump on board with someone else. Maybe you could take us through the current standings after 5 rounds.
Yes, I can do that with you, but firstly, Fight Me Now bot is coming across the line for SBS, who's done really well so far this season, and he goes for a 7.8. So if you thought the lap time from Russell was impressive, that's Fight Me Now bot, who's going 0.4 of a second quicker than Russell.
We got Shabby to the line, who goes even quicker. I was on board with the Ferrari.
Yeah.
Yes, Pro Bono going into P3 with an 8.1.
Yeah, and DTR definitely would love to get that result because they are very close to QRT in standings. With a quick rundown of it, currently got Relentless and NLR fighting for the top, with Relentless having 150 points and NLR Esports actually having 144. So only 6 points in between them. Then for P3, there's also a fight between GSP and SPS. GSP is on 90 points with SPS being on 86. So there's only a 4 points deficit there. QRT and DTR are very close to each other as well, with there being a 13-point gap difference of QRT having 78 and Delta Racing having 65. And then more at the back, you got Elite Racing Team, you've got CPI Esports and Virtual Esports on the exact same amount of points, which is 25, and you got IRT lonely at the back with only 4 points. Also, you have a DNF.
Yep, Rocco retiring in the pits, I believe. So he's out of qualifying for the entirety of the qualifying session now, and he's going to have a lot.
Qualifying ban, maybe?
Potentially, no. I'm not too sure.
I asked about it, but I didn't get an answer back. It might be because they did a late driver swap, but I'm unsure on the rules there, 100% of this event. But yeah, let's just go on board with another driver who's currently on a lap. Let's go on board with Toby. He is on the medium compound. I think the middle sector still is a visual bug, unless he's just gone purple in the middle sector on those medium tires. But let's see if he can put himself in a respectable time here on these medium tires. Let's see what he can do. It's P6, that's a very respectable time for the mediums.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, I believe Dari was the next one on a lap. He's just coming through turn 12 now, climbing up the hill. What is this going to be for IRT Dari?
I do not know, but what I do know is that Rocco actually crashed, so he did not retire in the pit lane. We go on board now with Dari going for an 8.8, which is only P11, and that's not what IT needs. They need to get big points here, because they only got 4 points currently. We can see that Julian, the other IT driver, is now going for a lap again. Let's go on board with him late, because we can see a Red Bull entering the pit lane on 0 lap all tires, which is strange. Who else on a lap? Noxie is starting a lap, or is he ending?
He's just coming to the end of the lap now, I believe.
But he's on a lot of ERS, so it's not an improvement. He's going for it again now. Must have spun or invalidated. I do not know, and his teammate is right behind. So we got a phase where everyone is just starting a lap, while Shabby is confident on his lap, and he is retired.
We got F1 Chris Chi coming up towards the line now. So we'll see what the Aston Martin... Yep, he's spun up into P4. What's this going to be for Chi? 9th at the moment.
You can see that all the drivers are starting to settle in a bit. We've got 4 drivers in the 7s, and I think once the track rubbers in more, we can see nearly the whole grid at least jumping into the 7s. But who else is now on the lap? We can see Warwick's Rage, the other QT driver. His teammate went up to P4. Can he put it? Warwick's Range only P16. From a team as QT, it could be a bit of a disappointing lap as my old team. I can say that about them.
Well, you have insight into the QRT team, so that's for sure. But I'm currently on board with the McLaren of CPI Leighton as he comes to the line now. Currently in 18th, and he jumps up into 12th.
Oh yeah. But like I said before, Toby doing that lap on the mediums, he actually won last week. So, and he's showing his pace again. He's got some very, very strong pace. And if he can do P8 on the mediums, and he's won last week, where can he put the car now? Because there's only a 4/10 difference between him and Shabby in P1. I mean, if he would want to, he would put it on the softs right now and put it easily on pole position. But I think that's definitely a contender for the win here. Toby, yeah. Him together with Krishi for GSP could be a dangerous pairing here, because I know Krishi has been in this scene for a while. He's been at TTG, he's been at countless other teams, and he's got a lot of experience, so I'm expecting him to be up there as well.
Yeah, but obviously a lot of time left in Q1 to improve, and of course I see Toby on those medium tyres. Would you think he's actually safe on those mediums, or would he need to come out on another set of soft tyres later on in the session?
No, I do not think he's safe. I mean, if you look at Larkin in P15, he set his lap as one of the first, and the grip difference that is there is insane. I think Toby, if he puts on the softs, he's for sure safe. But I think he will go out, do a banker lap, or just a safe lap to make sure that he makes it in to Q2. I think he will be one of the latest ones out. They will abort his lap if it's not actually needed. But I think he will be going out. And I find it interesting that Shabby, who's currently in first, retired so early, because with the track evolution, which is really massive this game, I think there can be some huge improvements still made. Because if you looked at the F1 Esports Team, where they did a full qualifying session also, at the end they were like 8/10 quicker. So, and if the 8/10 quicker now, can we see people get into the 6s maybe?
Potentially, we could see that later on in qualifying. Obviously, a lot of comments coming in the chat at the moment asking what Marchetto did in the Haas, invalidating on the run up to the start finish line, which is actually an impressive thing to do. But
yeah. That's very impressive. I haven't done that before myself, I think, and I'm, of course, a very great generational driver who definitely hasn't quit playing this game as of recently. So no, that's an impressive thing to do. I guess you want too much of the lap time to start, and that's just a costly and simple mistake to make, which is also an easy mistake to make at this track, is invalidating, which NLR Pro Bone has done. He's now currently going to end his lap, but he has invalidated and he's actually up on his time, or down, I guess, slower on his time as well. But his teammate Russell will now start his lap.
Yeah, so I'm on board with the DRT driver of Drumix as he comes to the line. So it's going to be, he was 3 times up in the middle sector, and it's an 8.1 up into P7. Goes a DRT driver, DTR driver. I can't read today, guys. I do apologise.
It happens. But that's a solid lap. I mean, of course, getting settled into the midfield. There's still a gap of 2/10 between P5 and P6. So I'm expecting some drivers to get in between there. I've been on board with a lap from NLR Russell here. He's a quick guy, but look at how far he misses that apex. Still, the track evolution still has to hit. Can Russell spin his car? Yes, he can. That's not what he needed, and he needs to quickly hop into the pit lane now, burn another set of softs, and then go again. He does not do the ERS saving trick, so I doubt he will be going on another lap.
So right now, I believe Julian is currently on the bubble to get knocked out here in Q1. So if Larkin, Dari or Rage are able to improve to an 8.4, they'll jump ahead and potentially get themselves into Q2.
Yeah, definitely. I think currently everyone has a chance really, because either people have gone out on inters or people have done on laps on mediums, or they've done laps really early. I think the whole grid could be shaken up here. So I'm very interested and intrigued to see what it will all end up as. The first person to start this lap now for the final runs of Q1 is ERT Larkin. So let's hop on board with him in sector 1. I know Larkin does like himself a bit of Brazil. So let's see if he can actually show us some really good pace here. The driver, of course, in League of Europe, who has had a decent season. He beat me at least. But let's see if he can actually show that pace in Brazil.
I mean, to be fair, it's not standard though.
I mean, standard to beat me, I guess. on this game, it should be very easy to beat me. I think you would even have a chance either to beat me.
Oh, no chance. No chance.
Larkin does have a tasty lock-up there, though, which he normally is line ABS, if I'm not incorrect. So I think that could be what's holding him back. But look at that, 5/10 improvement. And Larkin was one of the first guys out. So a 5/10 improvement, that would put him B5, B6. But his last corner did look a bit shabby. Not shabby as in the guy in P1, but shabby as in not too great. So it's P7 there for Larkin. Do you think that puts him in a safe spot? I don't know.
I mean, potentially he could be in trouble. We saw he improved by half a second. Could these other guys begin to improve by half a second as well?
Yeah, but CPI Noxy, DRT DMX are all still in the pit lane.
Christy.
They will not be setting a lap. And then, yeah, Christy. That's expected from him. He's a very talented driver for GSP. They've got a really strong driver pairing out there today. You can see Toby wanting to line up his lap. Let's hope that they do not block anyone. McLaren coming to the line now or starting it. That's Leighton who is starting his lap time right now. And also an Alpha coming across the line. That was Probone ending his lap, and he's gone up to P4 with a 7.9 whilst I'm getting spammed on Twitter.
Things you love to see, getting spammed on Twitter. As we got
Yes.
Toby who has missed out. He got backed up to such an extent that he wasn't able to get a lap in.
That is absolutely mega. The driver who won last week and put himself up into P12 with only medium seems to be going out here. And that's what might save drivers like Isbrand and Larkin and a few
Julian's
others.
not done enough.
Oi, that's really disappointing for the IoT driver. Let's see if his teammate IT Dari can make it out to Q2. He's got a 3/10 improvement, which is not a lot. It's also P16. IoT, they're only on 4 points, and it does not seem like it will be going upwards from here. They would hope to have a really good race. And there's only one more spot up for elimination, which is for CPI Leighton, because he has backed off his lap. So unless he magically teleports across the start finish line, he will be out.
I think Leighton's through. Yeah, I think he's through.
Is it
15 for now.
Oh yeah, because it's top 15 make it actually.
Yeah, so Leighton through. Dari, Julian, Rage and Rocco all out in Q1.
Yeah. That's upsetting, to be fair, for both IRT guys. Very close to it, but unfortunately it was just not meant to be. And also a few others got very lucky. I know Toby was shaking when he saw that he couldn't make it on time. Raul Mark was shaking that he would be eliminated in the first round of qualifying again, but luckily for him he has made it out as well. But his teammate hasn't. Rocco being out there with crashing very early on just a track without any rubber on it.
Yeah, obviously pushing the limits just a little bit too much too early. But end of Q1, it is F1 Christy who lights up the times right now. Obviously, most of these times don't really mean too much right now, but the times that do mean much are these at the bottom with Dari, Julian, Rage and Rocco all out here in Q1.
Yeah, that's of course not what you want to see, but it happens. Drivers have to go out. Let's see if Rocco, he's spun in sector 1 I think, because I cannot see any of his sector splits as well. But yeah, that's really upsetting. But I know Rocco has some good pace, so I am expecting him to be making a comeback through the field. But Krishy being 1/10 clear of everyone else, and a 10th at Brazil is actually a lot, because he only got a lap time of 1 minute 7 here. So we can see a lot more happening still. But those were your drivers eliminated. So let's see what will happen now in Q2.
Oh, the big thing is for Toby, even though he wasn't able to get a lap in at the end, the big thing for him
For
is
sure.
that he has still got a somewhat pretty fresh set of soft tyres because he only did an outlap on him.
Yeah. I think that's very important because I think the sun is starting to set through the dark clouds. Did you see any comments about rain? Because I think we have a dry race.
I haven't seen any comments about rain. If anyone in the chat does want to let us know if it's going to be a red race, you're more than welcome to. We may not see it until we go in, but
Yeah.
I do try to always keep an eye out on the chat and see what's happening. So don't worry, guys. I will be reading some of your comments out at
And a
some point.
lot of guys are going out at the same time. They want to set in a lap time early on. I think we got half the grid out already with the Haas driver being there first. I find that insane that everyone's going out very early into Q2. I think a lot of guys are worried that they get eliminated then, and they want to maybe set 3 lap times here in this session. Which is definitely possible because when we do a short qualification session, we actually use all 4 tires because it's such a short track. But who knows what will happen in this Q2 session. But a lot of drivers have gone out very early.
Honestly, I don't blame the drivers for coming out this early because obviously you want to get a lap time on the board as soon as possible. Even if it's not your maximum pace, you want a lap time on the board, see where you measure up, and then later on in the session, absolutely gun it. But we got Marchetto going to be the first one to start a lap up. And let me just quickly get all the telemetry and everything up, lap data and all that good stuff as we cross the line to get Q2 underway.
We've got a few guys on the mediums as well, as those are Noxy, also actually did a lap on the Inter, so he's really saving up his soft tires. And Russell, but we go on board with Marchetta now, which is the main focus here. He will be setting the benchmark for everyone. The time to beat is 16.8 in the first sector. It's a solid first sector, and we've seen a lot quicker already previously. Keeping it nice and clean there on the inside. You want to brake it as late as possible on the 50-meter board. Keep it clean and want to accelerate as early as possible. He did not fully go under the throttle, keeping it a bit safe as an Alfa Romeo has spun into turn number 5. Maybe on the inside of the curb. I don't think he's blocked anyone.
Oh, it's Pro Bono.
He has blocked someone. That's a penalty for Trobone with a Pro Bone with a 5-place grid penalty. Collision with Lars, and Marchetto spins it. Hopefully he gets out of the way quickly for CPI Noxy, who is now going to finish the first lap on the medium tyre, which you've seen isn't actually that far off the soft tyres, because Toby was only 4/10 off. What lap time can Noxy drive here? Can he get in the 7s? That is the main question here on these medium tyres.
Across the line, and it's an 8.6, so about 4 times off what Toby did in Q1 on the same tyres. Apologies once again to everyone in the chat as Feynman's mic went all robotic on him.
Oh. Is it still robotic?
No, it's fine now. All I can hear just a minute ago was
That's yeah. My internet has some spikes sometimes, but it should be stable. But I guess it sometimes happens.
Oh, as I just went on board with Lars, and that was a violent spin coming out of turn 12 as Russell goes to top the times on the set of mediums. Fight me bot, immediately eclipsing him.
Yeah, I think it's very close still, but if you can set P2 there on the mediums at 8.1, which is actually quicker than the lap that Toby put, I think you can drive some really nice laps. AJ by 24 now in the Williams is coming towards the end of his lap now as well. You can see that the drivers really use all of their batteries in here. He's going to go down to 10% of ERS, which is not going to help him for the final tow on the straight, but it's still good enough for P1 with a 7.9. So he's the first driver into the 7th of this Q2 session.
I was on board with his...
there's a lot of...
and I was on board with AJ's teammate, Larkin, who got a bit of a snap coming out of turn 4, just getting a little bit too much onto the curb. So this is not going to be a very representative time of what we could see from Larkin, but he might as well get to the line and just have a lap time and a delta on the board for him.
Yeah, that's of course important, having a delta, but a 9.6 is not the lap time that you want to see. But luckily for him, he did keep it valid, which is maybe even more valuable than having the lap invalidated. Is Christian on a lap? No, he's not on a lap. Although he's on 30% ERS, he's not burning anything. And he is heading into the pit lane. Do you see anyone on a lap?
Pro Bonus on his out lap. He's the furthest along right now, so I believe he'll be the next one to go.
Yeah, and you will not have to forget about his grid penalty. I haven't heard anything. I think the penalty will be legit. I've not heard of anything of a restart afterwards or anything. So I guess we just have to continue. He's weaving a lot on the straight, which does not help his momentum. I think he's doing a double outlap. Yes.
Back-to-back outlaps. Interesting from football now.
It is smart here because you have a lot of fuel. Even with the minimal amount of fuel, you still have a lot of fuel for this small circuit because you need 5 kilos of fuel into that car. Who doesn't do double outlaps is the Haasdrive of Marchetto for SBS, who are really in the fight for P3, and they currently got one driver in P2 and the other one is Marchetto, who's now setting his lap time. Can he drive a lap time near his teammate?
Well, we'll have to see how he gets on through turns 11 where he lost it on the last lap.
Yep. He's keeping it nice and clean so far onto the lap time here. Not really making massive lockups, just having a clean and neat lap. And it doesn't have to be overly aggressive. This game rewards smoothness and simple driving, but he does miss the apex there in the final real corner, which obviously will not help him. He maybe lost 1.5 tenths there, if I would have to guess. But can he still put up a competitive lap time? I'm sure that he will, and it will be a 7.7. So he will not be near his teammate, he will actually be ahead of him in P1.
As we got Jasbrand now to the line, and it's going to be an 8 flat for the QRT driver.
I personally know that Jasbrand is very quick at Brazil, at least he was on the previous game. We were constantly going at it. I think we were trying to get a 0.9 and he got it before me, and I was hella salty about it. But let's see VR Lars now, who's on the end of his lap. He goes to P2 with also a 7.757 this time.
Oh,
so they are very close to the top. Is he still alive? Does he have a wing?
He has a ring, but he's absolutely lit up the rear tyres and gone spinning. He's absolutely pirouetted on the track there.
Yeah, and that is his second spin in just this session alone, which is not what you want. First time it resulted in a 5-place grid penalty, and this time it results into a lap time that's not going to count, or that's at least not going to be quick. He will beat the lap time that CPI Leighton drove, because the 32.4 is not the competitive lap time that you want. But he's on a lap now, but he hits the grass a bit, which will not help his lap. But is there a QT drive now going towards the line? That's Eastbound, who's already validated his lap. Who else is on a lap?
Toby's just started his lap, so he'll be the one I'll jump onto after Leighton crosses the line.
I believe Leighton is the furthest one.
I believe Dimex crossing the line now.
Yeah, but he's starting his lap time because he was on the outlap. In this game, you actually remove the outlap when they start the lap, which is very annoying as a commentator's POV. So we go on board with Leighton, where he completely butchered the final corner, and yeah, he gets an 8.9 as a result off of it.
And
he can definitely make some more improvements. Oi. But who's not invalid is Krishy. Grisi has got a purple middle sect. He's gone 5/10 quicker currently, but that does not seem like too big of an improvement around the lap time of Mark, what I can currently see, but he improves all the way up to P3, so clearly he had a quite poor final sector on his last lap. Is Toby now going for another lap? I think he is, because he has quite a bit of ERS, so he will get a slipstream,
too much
but
curb.
he nearly loses the car there. He does actually fully lose the car, and he saves the car. So that's not going to be a valid lap, because he nearly drives in the in the wall there that sticks out. I can confirm that I've done that myself before. It's not my proudest DNF, also definitely not my worst.
I refuse to talk about DNFs.
Let's go on board with Dimmix now. He's going across the line for P6. The DTR driver also going into the 7th, so we now got 6 drivers into the 1 minute 7s, which is very nice to see. And I think you need to be in the 7s to make it to Q3. Because we already got 6 drivers in there, and only the top 10 make it through. So we currently got CPI Noxy, CPI Leighton, ERT Larkin, NLR, Pro, Bone, and Toby, who are at the cutoff points. But Toby is going. Is he going again on this set?
I believe he
saved
is.
up all his ERS.
Yep, he's.
He will not.
Oh.
When he opened the DRS, I was sure he was going to go for it, but he's not. But what the teammates did do smart is they swapped. So Toby can get into the pit box early because he needs to desperately set a lap. Was Grisi, I think he can sit in the pit box. I'm fairly sure that he will be safe until the end of this race.
We have Fight Me Now bot who's about to get his lap underway. 3.5 minutes to go here in qualifying 2. The drivers at the moment who are going to end up getting knocked out is both of the CPI drivers, ERT Larkin, NLR Pro Bono, and Toby currently.
Yeah, and we're just waiting for all drivers now to get ready to start their final laps. Is Dimmix going again on the same tyre? I think he is. He's absolutely going to be burning this set, but he does not think his 7.9 is good enough and will make it to Q3 for him. So he's deciding to go on low ERS, which is definitely not enough because you burn 80 to 90% of ERS on a lap. He's going for it again on scrub tyres. I doubt this will be an improvement.
I wouldn't think so if he's at on ERS, but he had time to come into the pits and potentially get himself back out if he was that concerned.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm very confused why they did that. By the way, in my ear, someone told me that slipstreaming is actually not allowed. So I thought the GSP team was going to be very smart to give each other a cheeky slipstream, but that is prohibited.
Oh, Fight Me Now bot coming up to a line. He has seen improvements in the first and middle sector, so this will be an improved time as he crosses the line. It's a 7.5.
That is a nice lap time. SPS now being in P1 and in P2, and that's definitely what they need if they want to fight for the top of the standings, and for P3 for sure. Derek has gone into the pit lane. He's invalidated. He knows that lap time is not good enough. He now has to pray that he will make it. Meanwhile, we got Relentless Mark going to the line. Will he make it through towards Q3? P5 currently. I think that lap time will be good enough. It depends on how much the others improve. Of course, that's always the game and what it will depend on. You can see Noxy now starting his lap time on the softs. He's done his previous best lap time on the mediums. Same counts for NLR Russell. He has only done his lap time on the mediums as well. But there's a massive gap in between them. I think which will be balanced out by the soft tire. Once you can see the top runners starting to retire in the pit lane. They know it's good enough. Or at least that's what they think. Macheto and Grisi are currently the ones that have retired in the pit.
I'll tell you what, Toby, Probone and Larkin under serious pressure here to get a representative lap time in.
Yeah, but I think it counts for everyone. Also both the CPI guys, and also P9 and P10, which are Eastbound and Russell. Because if they do not make any improvements, they could very easily be out as the full top 4 now has retired. I'm going on board with Nox here. He's got a 6.5 tenths down on his time, which will be just near the time of Eastbrand. If you can beat Dimmix, it will help him a lot, because Dimmix cannot set another lap time. He is stuck in the pit lane because he did another lap on that old scrub tires. Can Noxy put himself up there? Yes, he goes to P6, and that's a really nice lap time.
Shabby's off track. Shabby is off the track as well, so I don't think he's going to be improving his lap time. He could be under pressure later on in the session.
And
AJ coming down the lane.
Larkin will not be improving as well because he has set his car to P11 and he's not going anymore. He's for sure eliminated out of the Q2 session, and he will not be getting any points for his team because you also get points in qualifying, which I will be explaining to you guys later. Who's the next one on our lap outside of the top 10? Eastplant has got invalidated. He's P10. He is invalidated his lap time. He had 7.7 otherwise, which would have easily made it through, but he drove an invalidated lap time. We can see Pro Bone going to the line first. He goes into P9. He currently makes it, but can his teammate knock him down? Toby as well. Will his teammate knock him out? No, Russell's not quick enough. He only improves with 1/10. First he was on the softs and the previous was on the mediums. Leighton only goes to P15 and Larkin does not have an improvement, so we got the guys that are out for this qualifying session. DTR Gimmicks is out together with QRT Eastfront, which eliminates fully the QRT side, who are fighting for P5. NLR Russell, who could barely improve on his lap time. They set on the medium tyre, which I think he will be able to make some big snaps in the race. Larkin in P14, and then we got Leighton with quite the margin in P15.
Yeah, it was an improvement for Leighton, but it just wasn't enough, and the same for Larkin as well. It was good improvement from Larkin, but he needed that lap in halfway through the session, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I think he needed to set another lap time, but now we've got all the drivers who are ready for Q2. So I'm now going to pull up the points that you get in qualifying, because that's interesting about this team event. Normally, if you have a full qualifying session, it could be a waste of time or anything else, but now you really got to fight for something because you actually get points in the qualifying session. I'm going to take a quick sip of water, and then I'll be telling you guys the points.
Okay, well, my co-com... go on.
Yeah. So, for the qualifying, P1 actually gets you 10 points. Whilst you should realize that in the race, the maximum you can get is 25 points. So, quality merchants, this is a great opportunity for you to show yourself, to really help your team. Getting first gives you 10 points, P2 is 8, P3 is 6 points, P4 is 5 points, P5 is 4 points, P6 is 3 points, P7 is 2 points, and P8 is 1 point. So all the drivers that you currently see here in Q2 who have made it can actually fight for these points. But the guys who won't fight for the points, I'll say them again: DTR Dimmicks, QRT Eastfront, and NLR Russell 63, who isn't as quick as George Russell was IRL around the Brazilian Grand Prix. You got ERT Larkin in P14 and CPI Leighton in P15.
Yeah, and obviously with Pro One with that 5th place grid drop, he needs a good last qualifying session here for Q3. Otherwise, he could be starting outside the top 10.
Yeah, of course, it will be important for him to make up for it, because otherwise P14, that's very much midfield. But we only got 12 minutes now for this final Q3 session, which is a lot less once you get to think of it than you normally got in your short qualifying session. 6 minutes simply here are 2 different runs. As you can see, a few guys already coming out. It's a McLaren of CPI Noxie and the Red Bull of VR Lars going out very early.
Yeah, but unfortunately I was already on board with Lars, so I don't have to change around too much to start us off.
Yeah, and he's the only VR driver competing today, Lars, and he's representing the VR team very well. I personally do not know why VR has not driven today with a second driver. I find that interesting, but they only got one driver today. We can speculate for a long time as to why they only got one, but the fact we know is that they only got one driver for today, who's currently doing very well.
Well, we shall see how far up he can qualify here for this race. Obviously up ahead of him he has Noxie, and Noxie, very good final lap to get himself into the top 10. Good showing from CPI, the CPI driver so far.
Yeah, I actually know Noxie fairly well. I did commentary over him in a Dutch TikTok league. Yeah, those are times back. He was driving in the F3 there, and he actually became the champion, which... Yeah, he was a lot younger now, and he's now actually gone to a proper esports team, and he's shown his pace, shown his worth, but can he show it now?
on the streets of Sao Paulo here at the Interlagos Autodromo, I think it's called on the top of my head. But he goes now through the first sector, which is 3 very quick corners next to each other. We want to keep as much momentum and keep it really short through turn 3. And then we already got the sector split. Let's see what sector split he will get. I don't have the telemetry menu open, so that's very well prepared for myself. Did you catch that?
I mean, I can watch it back on the stream now. I'll let you know.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter anymore. But the only thing that matters is the final lap time. Noxie, there, he's currently on a very clean lap. Drivers will be pushing all out now in Q3. The track is the most rubbered in, and we said a 6 in the beginning, which I think is maybe a step too big. But I'm expecting a low 7 for Paul. He has a small moment there. Noxie in the fish helmet. Let's see what a sector 2 split is. A 51.2. So we can keep count of that for the other drivers if anyone gets close to that. But then we're gonna see Noxie open the DRS now, and he's gonna go towards the line, keeping it as short as possible. Can he bring it solidly into the 7s? 7.8. That's a solid time to begin with. You got VR Lars in second. He goes to a 7.7. And then you got the Haas of Marchetto. It's not Marchetto. It's Fight Me Now Bot who's starting his lap. And also Mark who just started his lap time.
Yeah, so Marchetto now the next one to cross the line as Toby sets a 7.9, and Marchetto started to spin.
In a double outlap.
Oh, Shabby.
Shabby going to ball there. Yeah, that's
not too shabby. Not too shabby from Shabby.
Yeah, he's been quick this whole time. And he's really showing it here again. I've got, by the way, some totally unrelated facts about this qualifying session. Olivier Giroud has made it 1-0 for France. Who I predicted to score first. But let's go on board with F1 Krishy now, who's going across the line only a 6% ERS, and he got slowed down a lot by that, but still is up to P2. So I think if he turns on his ERS a little bit later the next lap, he can really go for one easily. But not improved. Same is for VR Lars. And then we can see Fight Me Now Bot coming towards the line. Can he bump off Shabby for pole position? He can! Only just both on a 7.5, but Fight Me Now Bot drives a 7.548. And we can also see Relentless Mark going to a 9.2, which is the pace I expect for Mark, to be honest.
Pro Bono has spun it again.
On his outlap. That's interesting, because Marchetto also goes for a 7.5, this time at 3.4, he goes into the lead. Both SBS drivers are now onto a P1 and a P2, which is really nice to see. Let's go on board with Probone, and let's see if he can actually do a lap without spinning. Which is, sounds really, really rude, but he has spun like 3 or 4 times now this qualifying session.
Yes, he has.
Going now 17.0, which is not the quickest. We have seen drivers do a 16.8 already in Q2, so he's already slower with 2/10 there, but all the time you can find is in the middle sector, really pushing it a lot, making an early upshift there to the 7th gear, and he's keeping it a bit safe through the middle sector, so I'm not expecting him to be fully up there. Absolutely maximizing it though on the exit here, and slightly missing the apex. So the lap definitely has a few small mistakes, but no major ones. He's kept it on the track, using the most of it there, a 51.9, which was a bit slower than Noxie did, I think. So I'm expecting it to be around the time of Noxie last Toby, that area, but the final sector is also very important. If you're running low downforce, it will already show here, or if you're running high downforce, you'll actually be a lot slower with 8.5.
I think for Pro Bono, he's just trying to get a lap on the board.
Yeah.
Confidence being knocked with a couple of spins.
AJ was on 0% ERS and he's still done the 7.7, which is a very nice lap time for him. And now we've seen everyone do their first lap. Now they'll go into the pit lane and use that fresh set of softs that you get specifically specifically selected for Q3. So it could be that there were a few guys in an older set of tyre who have just done a lap there, which would not surprise me actually, using a strop set and now going on the fresh set, so we might be able to see some big improvements, and I think we can maybe see a 7.2 as Paul.
Essentially, if Marchetto Fight Me Now bot and Shabby can find an extra 10th or 2, we could be seeing some low 7s here. Oscar,
sure.
I didn't want to embarrass you, but what did you say the name of this track was?
Yeah, no. It's Interlagos, but I don't know what else.
Autodromo Interlagos, you said, wasn't it?
Something like that, yes.
I just searched it up as the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache.
Is it not Interlagos? Okay, I've been wrong there, I guess. I mean, my track knowledge is not the greatest. You can see VR Lars now being on an outlap. Will he do 3 runs, do you think? Maybe. But he's not been the guy I would say has saved the most tires. I know Noxie has done. He's really used a medium set and an intermediate set, so I know he has a lot of tires. Lars used inters as well, actually. So maybe this is a fresh set, and he's gonna do 3 total laps.
Potentially, as Lars will get us underway for what could be his final run here in qualifying.
Yep, if you go on board with them for the lap time, and let's see if Lars can actually put himself up to pole with this another lap time. And thank you very much for the link of the exact track name, Mike. I trusted you in the first place already.
Oh no, it's not just for that, it's so you can know corners and everything as well.
Ah, okay.
So.
Thank you. You can currently see Lars now going up to P6, turn 6, keeping as much momentum through there as possible. Want to hit the apex here, but you actually want to take it wide and take a tighter line through here, which Lars does really nicely. I actually had to learn this line myself because I took it wrongly for a long time. And it's actually 1/10 that you lose there if you take a different line. Which at a track like Brazil, which you can see right now on the left hand side of your screen, the times are very close, but he goes 3/10 quicker already, Lars. That's going to be an easy pole time for him if he doesn't screw up the final corner, which I don't think he did. But the only question is if he will be back in the pit lane in time. Will he finish the lap time? Yes, he will. I think it will be a 0.3 or 0.4 here for VR Lars. A 0.4 low. And now he needs to hurry back. I don't think he'll make it.
No, I don't think he's going to get back into the pits. I think this will be a cooldown lap, then he'll go again.
Oh yeah, I think he will do that, and might just abuse the neutral gear a bit to gain some ERS. I don't know if anyone knew that actually. Now you know. There's a glitch in this game, or not a glitch, but if you go down to neutral and you just accelerate like 20%. You just gain like 10% ERS in like a second, and you do that for 10 seconds. You got a full battery. It's crazy, but not a lot of guys know that. But I've just said it for everyone, so have fun exploiting that bug. Macheto is braking. Macheto's doing a double outlap again. You can see him fuel burn, so he is not gonna go for it for the first time route. Unless I have a hiccup.
Well, I think that's going to be the idea from. Everyone from looks at it. I mean, Mark is about to get us underway for a flying lap, so we'll stay on board with Mark. I know Toby in behind invalid his first flying lap, so Toby would have been saving up his ERS to go again, but Mark now will go for it. Lars retires on the session in the pit lane, so his qualifying is done for the day. 16-7 first sector for Mark. That's a very good first sector from the relentless driver. He climbs up the hill through the double right-handers, breaking down into turn 8, carrying it through turn 9, very smooth on the traction on the exit. Now into turn 10, big old lock up on the front, but keeps it in check. 11 and now into 12, 1.2 seconds up. This will put him around Toby's lap time if he can get a good run to the line, which isn't going to be massive, but it will be an improvement.
And talking about you go ahead. Mark gets it into 0.6 with a 7.7, but I was on board with Toby. He was 5 tenths down, and then he invalidated just coming before the final corner, which means that Toby, the race winner of last race, is actually going to stick it only up into P9. AJ by 24 gets it up to P3, and meanwhile you see Krishi behind that also starting his lap time. And I think Noxie is coming to the end of his lap as well. He's got a purple middle sector with only a 1.25 tenths improvement. You will put himself near Mark, I think. Will he beat Mark? He will just about beat Mark, but P7 will be the best result Noxie will be getting in this qualifying session. The first of the Hasses are coming across the line. Firstly, it's Fight Me Now Bot. He's only 1/10 up. Can he beat Lars? I think that will be very close, but maybe he has a better last sector than last time. He will! A 7.355. I said we would get a 0.2. Can we get it now? Maybe Marchetto will, because he is the other Haas driver who's coming towards the line now. We had Probone getting it into P5 with his grid penalty. Another 0.3, very close to each other between Fight Me Now Bot and Marchetto. They're both SVS teammates, 6,000 per second off of each other. But who else can do a lap? Maybe Shabby. He's only down by a little bit. Is it going to be enough? No, he sticks it into P4. Maybe Krishi, no, he is up on his time and he is built on it. So I think that is the final qualifying session, and SBS has got a 1-2 lookout.
Yeah, impressive lap times at the end from SBS. Fight Me Now Bot and Marchetto putting it in where it counts, and well, we saw some marginal improvements, but we also saw some late attempts here from Pro Bono to get a lap time on the board, and probably the big shock was Toby.
Yeah, he was on a really nice lap. But being in P10, or actually starting in P9, is not going to be the greatest position. Because Probone still has that 5th place grid penalty for a collision earlier in Q1 with VER Lars.
Yeah, so Probone will be starting from 11th, and honestly for Probone, he's going to be happy that he's able to get to minimise how many points positions he will drop in qualifying. So he'll be happy with P6. I think that he only just drops outside the top 10.
Yeah, it's not too bad, but of course it's not ideal. You want to get as close to the top as possible, and when you set such a good lap time as P6, it's really hurting you to see yourself starting in P11 and being in the midfield of drivers you know you're quicker than because you out-qualified them. But there's a big difference here between qualifying session setups and race setups. But now let's go across the grid because we got an SBS front row lockout. They're very close to each other on pace. They've been the whole qualifying session, but having only 6,000 of a second deficit between the two drivers, that's just incredible. Just behind that is VER Lars, who's only got his 48,000 of a second behind him. Then we got Shabby, AJ by 23, Krishi, Noxie, Mark, Toby, and then the guy that qualified in P11, and because Probone will be dropping back with his 5 place grid penalty all the way down to P11.
Yeah, and of course 36 laps awaiting these 19 drivers here, and it's going to be very intriguing to see what tyres everyone starts on.
Yeah, I think we'll be seeing a few medium tyres. Well, it is dry, but cloudy. Maybe the same conditions that we saw firstly in Q1, but of course it cleared up over the rest of the qualifying sessions. But let's see, let's wait and hope that it will all stay dry, or actually let's hope that we get some rain later on in the race, and I'll have a very chaotic one with a lot of entertainment.
Well, obviously with myself being from Wales, I never like to see clouds because I know that there's always rain going to happen.
I mean, I'm Dutch myself. I have to take the bike every day to school, and then a train, and then a bus. So when it rains, I normally don't look forward to my trip on the bike. But yeah, let's just see if it stays dry. I'm actually unsure if we have a formation lap, which is not good preparation for myself. I think we'll find it out very soon.
Yes, we shall. As yeah, we are going to those formation laps.
Oh, it's Do we normally have commentary during the... I think it's...
I'm very confused of what's happening right now.
I think that the wrong settings here, but you can look at the tires. Everyone is on hards apart from Marchetto in P2 and CPI Nox in P7 and Julian in P17. The advantage of starting on the hard tires... Oh wait, they're already there. The advantage of starting on the hard tires is that you don't have to warm up the hards later on when you pit, because the mediums warm up quicker than the hard tires. But everyone will be automatically selected into the grid spot. With unfortunately the settings are fine apparently. We do broadcast formation lap. For no risks. Thank you very much, Jav. Well, everyone is settling in now. Ivan, take it away.
Okay, as we wait for everyone to get into their grid positions, we wait for those 5 beautiful red lights to get underway. As we are now gonna go to those 5 red lights. Lights out, and we are underway here for Brazil, and a very good start from Marchetto on those medium tyres, as everyone going 2 by 2 through turn 1 in behind. Hopefully everyone keeps it clean. A little bit of contact between Shabby and Lars there, as Shabby getting on the inside curb, and Aston Martin around to Toby.
Yeah, that's Krishy. That
Krishy
has gone round, and Toby has gone off as well. So both GSP drivers do not have an ideal start. IIT Daria has been spun round at the back as well, or spun by himself. But look at the 2 SBS drivers. They got a massive gap already to their competition behind. And after P5, there's a massive gap as well. But we've got VR Lars and CPR Noxie being side by side with each other, keeping it nice and clean through the middle sector. Noxie on the medium tires is expected to have a lot more grip, and he makes the move stick on VR Lars. So that's a nice move there. Behind that, VR he makes a spun, and he's up into the infield. Hopefully he doesn't get reset the track or gets a 10-second penalty here. He doesn't get a penalty. Good, I've seen people get ridiculous time penalties for that before. My timing is glitched between Fight Me Now Bot and AJ and Marchetto, so I can't see the gaps in the front
1
three.
second. 1 second between all 3 of them.
Hopefully it updates now. No, the intervals are still fully wrong for me, but Relentless Mark is into the pit lane. I think he has damage. He must have damage, otherwise there's no real reason to pit. So
Shabby
incredibly
and Pro Bono
early.
side by side through turns 1, 2 and 3, and they're still side by side, and that could open things up for Larkin to have a little crack. But he's just gonna sit back and enjoy the show for the time being, the ERT driver.
Yeah, and I think it's a smart thing to do. If they're fighting really hard ahead of you, just let them burn off the ERS. But Parbone actually still has 71% ERS, while Shabby has 38%. Yeah, up front it's going to be interesting because AJ has really been dropped by the SBS guys. And they are just working together. You've got Marchetto on the mediums, just dragging into the air, punching a hole in the air. And Fight Me Albert is just simply following, and he's going to profit from the DRS. I think this is going to be some brilliant teamwork between the 2 drivers here. It's very nice to see them do this, but let's see Noxie actually make a move here on AJ. There's no DRS yet, but Noxie is just on the ERS. He knows he has to make the move. He is on the medium, starting in P7, but he's already up into P3. If he makes his move stick, he brakes later than AJ, and he makes it easily happen.
Yep, obviously now DRS is enabled on this lap as we go into lap 3, so AJ could have a chance to come back at Noxie here.
Yeah, 100%. If we also look at the position changes, if you quickly pull that up, you've got one team with incredibly good sides, which is QRT Eastward +6 and YX Rage +7, so they have both made an incredibly good start, and bad sides are the GSP boys, with Toby losing 3 spots and Krishy losing 10 spots.
And Mark in the pits, I believe that's the 2nd time he's been in the pits now.
Yeah, that is interesting. I think, is he going back to the
mediums?
What size did he pit on before?
Well, he's on a set of mediums now. If you want to have a little look in the race director and have a little peek.
I'm on it. Yeah, he went from mediums to mediums. I think he got damage on the pit lane exit. That's the only way I can see you hit the wall without causing yellow flags here.
Or they didn't change his front wing for him.
That's possible as well. Yeah, that's very annoying, this game. That doesn't fix it automatically. But you do have an option to click yes or no to fixing that front wing. And I guess he did not update that. You can see Leighton being very close on the back of Rocco. Rocco already going from P19 to P6. He's made 6 places already, and you can just see that Mercedes being a lot quicker in a straight line than Leighton. So I think Rocco has got a really nice setup for the straight lines. Not actually making a straight line, but you know what I mean.
We're at a crucial point now for AJ, because obviously Noxie on those mediums will be a bit quicker. So obviously to stay with Noxie. Noxie's going to kind of drag him towards Fight Me Now bot in this middle sector.
Yeah, but AJ hasn't really been pushing to stay with him because he still has 50% ERS, and DRS is so key here. Now he uses ERS, but it's too late because Noxie's going to have a better exit here with 70% ERS. And as you can see, no, he does not have DRS, and that's going to cost him a lot. Because you can still see Lars in behind having this save. He burns everything now. I don't think this is the move for AJ to do it now, whilst Rocco has been overtaken by Leighton. I was just saying that Rocco had such better pace. He must have made a mistake. He dropped it on the exit, but he's now
back,
flying back past him. Stick, and nearly in the back goes Julian, but he just keeps it out of the back of the McLaren. I would love to touch the back of the McLaren as well, but it would probably get a fine.
Well, what we're seeing now, this battle between Leighton and Rocco has dropped Rocco out of DRS range of Toby up ahead, so it's going to become very difficult for Rocco to get himself back onto the back of this train without any battling up ahead.
Yeah, but you can see the gap between both Haas drivers. It's bigger than a second now. Will Marchetto wait for Fight Me Now bot to get in his DRS? Because Marchetto is on 100% DRS. He is just waiting and saving to keep his teammate into his DRS. He's out. I think he's just in. Yeah, he's just in, but they're both wasting time because Noxie is gaining on them because Marchetto is keeping his teammate into the DRS. So they're playing the team game now. But could it not be better, because Noxie actually sets the fastest lap, to just let Fight Me Now bot go and Marchetto to use a bit of ERS, and he will just absolutely fly away, because Noxie only has 50% ERS. Marchetto is now using that ERS, but he is on 20. He has still got 25% more.
Yeah, Fight Me Now bot has used everything to try and keep with his teammate, but his teammate has actually been having a Sunday drive at the moment.
Yeah. Which, I get it, it's a team game, it's smart to do. And with the DRS strain, Noxie just is losing heaps of time. Let's be honest, 2.5 seconds, he's pushed, he made an effort to get in. The gap was 1.8 seconds originally, and now it's 2.3 seconds. You lose so much if you're not in the DRS strain here, and I think Marchetto did exactly what we told him to, have asked him to. Oh, he nearly spins, that's not what we asked him to do. Marchetto is just burning his ERS now a bit to make some space, whilst Russell overtakes Larkin just before the final turn. That's an interesting place to make a move.
Yeah, now Pro Bono I think had a little bit of a moment as well, because he dropped out of DRS range to Shabby, and Russell now on the back of him.
But he does still have the DRS, which is important. He will not have it now, but I think you can make up a 4/10 gap, especially if you just burn a bit of ERS, whilst Probone has 30% more ERS than Shabby. Well, Shabby is actually pushing to stay in the DRS as well. It's funny to see what drivers are on the limit. You got Fight Me Now bot on 16% ERS, and if you go down a bit, you got Eastbound, who's in P6 on 90% ERS. He is just jetting, he's just waiting to see what happens, and you got other drivers absolutely pushing for their lives. I think we'll start to see some more gaps upcoming soon, but let's see if Probone can actually catch back up to the back of Shabby.
Well, we'll see if he can. A good exit here would really help him, as gets early, but gets a bit of wheel spin and a little bit of a snap there.
Oh! Contact between Warx Rage and Larkin. And Warx Rage nearly spins. He tried to go around the outside of the long right-hander ahead of him there, and he nearly loses it again. There, Rocco making an easy move there on Warx Rage, but Rocco is flashing. Warx Rage will be making his comeback there. He was still on a lot of ERS, gets squeezed to the inside by Rocco, but that is still an easy move. And he goes back up there, but Rocco tries to go around the outside. No, Rocco, that's a bit too enthusiastic from yourself. That move will not work. He's not from that far back. Will Toby now make a move on Larkin? No, Toby has decided to just sit behind there and try to work together. Work together to get back up to the top 9 train, because that is currently the most important goal for them.
Yeah, I think for Toby, just sitting in behind him, picking his moments to go for the overtake is a smart thing to do here. Obviously, turn 1 on the following lap, as long as he can stay with Larkin, should be the best place for him to get past.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, Noxie loses it. Noxie spins into the wall and he's out. I was on board with him. He loses it in a long right-hander. I do not know if it was on his overtake, but he was absolutely pushing the car. He loses it, and his car went into the wall. He did the Grosjean, I think, in 2012, if I'm not correct. I'm fairly sure Grosjean spun there doing the exact same thing, and we got, fortunately for him, not a full safety car, but the CPI driver is now crashed while Shabby gets a 5-second speeding in the pit lane penalty. Is he going to mediums already? I don't think you can make the end of that. I think Julian will pit for hards. No, Julian stayed out.
Yeah, but obviously Mark would have been hoping for a full course safety car so he could come back into this race, but
yeah, but this is such a crucial moment for SBS. They got a 6-second gap nearly now towards the next guys in the train. You can see Fight Me Now bot just desperate to save the DRS. Whilst we go green now, we don't have anyone getting a penalty for speeding under the virtual safety car, which
Lars
is very
came
fortunate
close.
as well.
Lars came very close. He almost went into the back of AJ, which would have been a penalty for collision.
Yeah. Also interesting, not everyone has gone back up to 100% ERS, which if you just know how to abuse the ERS saving technology, you would easily be able to do so.
Well, now we should see if Lars can get through on AJ, because he definitely has more ERS, and with the DRS as well, he should have the overspeed he needs to launch an attack here. He's going to pull alongside.
Very well done. That's a clean move, and you can see immediately Isbrand is hungry on the back of AJ. He wants to make the move as well, but that is the DRS train. That's unfortunate for him. He was on the overtake very early, had a little bit of a snap, and he's burning now. He is burning. Is he going to go for it? You can see the little wiggle there from AJ. Isbrand goes for it. They're up into turn 4, and that is a really brilliant move there from the QRT driver. He is incredibly quick, Isbrand, and he's definitely a force to be reckoned with. And he shows his pace there by waiting for a long time. He was on 100% ERS the whole time. And there he just catches the spray. He sees the mistake, he spots it, and he goes for the move and makes it happen.
Yeah, not playing around today, Eastman, as now he's on the back of Lars. And you got to think, DRS and he should probably get past the VER driver on this straight.
I think he definitely has the pace for it, but he has been behind Lars for a while, and I think he realised that Lars actually has some solid pace. So he might just want to work together, not burn all of the ERS immediately. I mean, you can see Lars getting a bit lower on the ERS, you can make your move then, and try to work together and slowly catch up to the SBS boys, whilst Marchetto has actually now dropped Fight Me Now bot from the ERS.
Yeah, and I mean, from Fight Me Now bot, and it's looking good for him, because obviously he's on the same tyres as the guys in behind him.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see how much the team orders will be. I mean, this is kind of like a Mercedes in 2017, 2018. They're fully clear up front with the two of them, and at the end of the race, they will be coming near each other on the strategy, because they both got different strategy plans, which will be ending up close to each other at the end of the race. But mediums are really good here, and I think you will see drivers from hards pitting before the medium runners, because the mediums are just a really solid and broken tyre this game. Because mediums last actually way longer than they should last, and that the pace in the tyre stays there for a very long time. That's why you see everyone doing medium hards on this game, and you never see anyone really do soft hard, because it simply doesn't work, because the medium tyre is just so good.
I mean, the soft tyres are so bad on this game as well, so that doesn't
yeah,
help.
But let's see now if there are any new battles submerging. You can see that both the NLR drivers are pretty much just in a land of their own. 2 seconds ahead, 2 seconds behind, and they're just chilling. Got Toby now having lost Larkin, but he's actually on 5% ERS. So maybe Larkin is able to catch back up to the Aston Martin driver. Not Alpha.
I mean,
We've got Alpha, Aston, it gets difficult sometimes, you know. Also, when you got someone who's colorblind with all of these blue cars, it gets confusing.
Trust me, I can feel the pain there. But it looks like Toby just has the pace on Larkin, who's going to be under pressure from Rage and Rocco in behind.
Yeah, I think Larkin is still struggling with no ABS. He's not able to fulfill his full pace, but he's doing well, to be fair. He's definitely doing better than one of my first no ABS races. I was stuck behind Gary for the whole race, which I think says a lot. But yeah, who knows? What we do know is that Warwick's Rage has just got the move done. On Larkin, he has got 70% of ERS, and that's maybe a reoccurring thing, whilst Eastland has lost the DRS of Lars. And Lars is absolutely pushed like crazy, and he is flashing now. But he desperately did not want to work together with Eastland, and he just said, fuck it, I'm gonna burn absolutely everything.
Yep, and Fight Me Now bot is starting to get back within the DRS range of Marchetto, so it looks like these medium tyres may just be losing their edge a bit.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think Marchetta just made a mistake, whilst we saw another mistake from CPI Leighton because he was the first person to pick up a time penalty this race. And 3 seconds now added on, which on this track where you get a lot of DRS range, 3 seconds is a lot of time. Yeah, I'm interested to see how many others will get time penalties. It's very easy to pick up a penalty on the exit of turn 7. And also in the first sector, it's just easy to pick up a time penalty in general here on this track. You've got tracks where it's a bit harder, but
Julian?
It's not hard to spin in the final corner, which King Julian just did. You know the Madagascar character?
Yeah, I'm picking up where you're going down.
Yeah.
I tell you what, Toby is closing in on these NLR drivers.
He's got some really good pace, although he is on 0% ERS and burning it. You can close up with it, but can you overtake a team that's got DRS on each other, that's in a party with each other, and that can work together, and that just has 60% more ERS than you?
Well, that's the thing, like, for Toby, if he can just get within DRS range, he can kind of save a bit of ERS.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. AJ by 24 also got a time penalty now, and Eastman that's just fully been dropped by Lars. And Lars actually being on the exact same amount of ERS as Eastplant. I don't think Eastplant will be all too happy with that. Eastplant being a PSGR3 driver, and I've been out of the PS scene for a while. Yeah, bear in mind, VER Lars is not a name that pops up to my head as in saying, oh, he's a driver who's in a really quick PSGL tier or something else, which... Yeah, so I find it surprising that Lars has such great pace over Eastplant.
As we saw an overtake there that may have been featured in League of Europe over the years with Rocco and Larkin.
Yeah, of course. I don't think... We won't do any too much self-promotion, although I've mentioned 2 leagues already now. But Rocco and Larkin are 2 veterans in League of Europe. They've raced each other a lot. And I know that Larkin is a Brazil merchant. Just like myself, he's very quick at Brazil, at China, mostly at all the tracks where ABS is really strong, but without the ABS, Larkin is just struggling, it seems like, mainly dropping back. But I hope Larkin keeps off his ABS, although Larkin does definitely have better things to do in life. I don't know how much of his private life is out there, but he has an actual job, unlike some others here in this grid today, whilst Marchetto is in.
Yep, Machado is in, opting to come into the pits now, lap 16.
That's early, I think. I would have gone at least to lap 20. But, okay, let's keep an eye out on that. And I think that the hard runners will pit in like 4 laps time. Which is interesting. So Machado now has 4 laps to make as much time as possible on Fight Me Now bot until Fight Me Now bot gets the fresh mediums and will be back on him. But Machado first needs to watch out that he doesn't get overtaken by DTR Shabby, who pitted under the safety of virtual safety car. He will make another pit stop, but if you go on board with him, you can see how little grip those hard tires have. Machado is now absolutely going to be on pressure here in this middle sector. You can see him weaving, desperately trying to warm up his tires, but you can just see Chevy turn in and the car reacts. When Machado turns in, it doesn't. will Shabby now try to make a move early, or will he wait until the straight, or will he not even make a move at all? Because they were fighting before that. And the undercut Shabby made was pitting under the virtual safety car. And that's helped him out a lot.
Well, I tell you what, for Machado, I think the reason why he came into the pits is so he could get into this little gap behind Leighton and ahead of Shabby. Bit of fresh air to push into, but if he loses this spot now to Shabby...
Yeah, he will. He will lose the spots, which is not ideal. And he now will have to be fighting his way back. He tries to defend a little bit, but Shabby has good enough reaction times to avoid contact there, and Machado has to concede the position there, but making a switch, trying to make a switch back here, or at least cut back, having a better exit here, and you can see Machado now draining his ERS, wanting to make a move here, but he's not quick enough, he doesn't have enough straight line speed, and Shabby is able to defend, and this is not what Machado wanted, onto the grass, around the outside now in turn 4, still fighting, he's just losing time, and ERS, he gets pushed off there by the DTR driver, only a little bit, that's just fair and hard racing, if you ask me, but DTR Shabby keeps the position.
For Machado now, his strategy is getting absolutely ruined by here from Shabby.
Yeah, it's of course not helping him, and especially since the art runners will be into the pit lane soon as well, and Shabby will not be disappearing because he is only on 8 lap old mediums. But he does have a 5-second time penalty. Let's see Machado now go for the move again.
As Larkin is just going to breeze past Chris Chi, who's coming into the pits, so the first of the hard runners into the pits, followed immediately by Leighton.
Yeah. I think it's going to be early for the mediums making the undercut here, which is really works well onto this game. Hopefully it works out for them, and that they will not be making or losing too much ground, and maybe they will be getting near the puncture territory, but I found it very early that Machado pit as well, so I definitely think they can make these tires last at the end.
Well, I'll tell you, here's an interesting dynamic now. So we can see Lars, his closing in on Fight Me Now bot. The gap was 5 seconds just a moment ago, and now it's 4.6.
Yeah.
Machado again kind of slowed and backed up a little bit by Shabby.
Yeah,
How close is Lars going to be?
I don't think the teamwork from the SPS guys was all too amazing. And Lars just has really good pace. He drove 2.5 seconds away. Also, Machado makes a mistake there, going onto the grass now. He probably got a warning for it.
That was the F1.
No, you actually don't. You don't get in that corner because you can abuse it a lot. You can actually go wide there and then get a better cut back and gain like 3/10 without getting a warning. It's kind of a cheat code.
I was going to say that is the F1 2010 time trial line.
Yeah. I mean, there's still a lot of bugs in this game. I'm kind of getting a bit more involved in like the esports scene of this game now, whilst being a manager at FPR. And I've heard a few concerning facts that you can do here on this game. Which I won't say everything here, but there's a lot of things happening in this game which you can do, a lot of bugs that are completely game breaking, which people know but don't do because this game is. I'll try and explain a bit about game
go
making.
deep, and AJ's back through.
Ooh, I'm getting a really great story here whilst they're having a beautiful fight here. The games get built on top of each other, so they started this F1 2016, I believe, and they just built an F1 2017 on top of each other. So if you keep making games on top of each other, if you get a bug, you have to look through all of these games, all of the history, whilst you can actually see AJ and Probone both go into the pit lane. But if there's a bug in this game, it will absolutely be destroyed, and they need to. That's why bugs don't get patched so quickly. But there are some game-breaking bugs where you can just add extra grip and take turn 1 in Bahrain flats, for example. Whilst Probone gets a new front wing.
And Machado finally gets past Shabby, but is Shabby going to come straight back past him? He's using his ERS. He's got DRS. He's got the overspeed. He's looking down the inside. Oh, he's got his nose in it. Bit of contact, but Machado able to stay ahead. But Shabby's still using his ERS.
Yeah, he has to fight, of course, because this is for the lead, and he is on all the medium tires. He wants to stick with them, and he wants to hold them back as much as possible, because Fight Me Now bots will be behind them, definitely. Once you get a spinner, that's Julian. King Julian. He's not the king anymore from Madagascar, and he's definitely not the king from Brazil, because he spins again. I hope he doesn't get rear wing damage from that small tap on the wall. A relentless mark now overtakes him.
Fight me now, bot
I
is in.
sent you a DM on Discord. So, but Fight Me Now bot is actually into the pit lane. And he will hopefully get he will hopefully get out ahead of Marchetto.
It's gonna be close.
Let's see if he will be able to do so. Yeah, no, they've been held up a lot. I think he goes out ahead.
Just about ahead, I think.
Yeah.
Yep, there he is, just ahead, and Fight Me Now bot on those mediums should be able to pull away from Marchetto, and Shabby now there as well. Obviously, I believe Shabby will have to make another pit stop. Everything getting a little bit spicy here now, as Lars should be into the pits at the end of this lap, so he will be about 4 seconds back from Marchetto and Fight Me Now bot. From the looks of things, Mark and Julian into the pits. Lars now coming into the pits. This man now into the pits, and will we see Russell coming in as well? No, Russell staying out. As both of the SBS drivers able to get through ahead of Lars, but how much time did Lars lose by staying out a little bit longer?
I'm back.
I'll tell you what, Lars is actually only 3.6 seconds behind, so Lars could very well close up.
I definitely think he will be able to do so with the pace differential, but it's crucial for Fight Me bot that he's now already a second ahead. So Shabby held up Marchetto so much that the gap that they had, that he was willing or wanting to build up on those hards, has just fully vanished. And with the 5 lap difference, I think even at the end, these guys will be on the same tire wear or like the same pace. So Fight Me Now bot will just now have to drive and drive and drive and gain as much time as possible. As you can see, Rocco actually staying out, so he might influence the battle for the lead as well. Will Rocco maybe stay out and hope for a late safety car?
No, that's the big question now. If Rocco stays out and battles these two, that will spice things up with Lars Ooze.
I think if Rocco does that, he would have done a P1 and 2 if he gets a safety car now. He will go onto the soft tyres and he will be able to give a massive chance and a massive opportunity to actually win this race. Because we're seeing a lot of guys, although they've just pitted to new mediums, go to the softs. Because softs are just a second quicker a lap than the mediums.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, Fight Me Now bot in the DRS range of Rocco. And so much more grip on those tyres and so much more pace on him as well. It's difficult to imagine Rocco being able to defend this, but I think he might give it a crack.
Yeah, he's burning on the ERS there. And Rocco does have a very quick car in a straight line, which we saw previously, but he is going in. He's going in. Unfortunately, we thought Rocco was going to be the hero here. The hero to take down SBS, which you don't really have to be a hero if you do that. So I don't know why I said that. But he would be the guy to battle SBS, but he's not doing that in the end. Only thing now, which will be interesting, is to see how quick Lars can go past Shabby. Because Shabby will be pitting in 5 laps time, I would say. There's no way he makes it to the end. He has to make a double stop for sure. So yeah, I'm interested to see how far he will come. But the setups here are very, very different. So of course you can see guys having like 23 front wing. But I'm just looking through our own setups. We also got people with 13 front wing, so that's just a massive difference. Whilst Leighton gets another penalty, and he's already on 6 seconds.
Yeah, Leighton not having the best of time right there, and honestly, it's been a rough run for CPI. Noxie was looking very good early on, but of course that crash which triggered the virtual safety car really putting a dampener on their hopes here today.
I've just looked at Jeff has actually clipped what I said about Gary, and he tagged Gary saying you're gonna take that. But yeah, let's go on board now with Lars. Can he actually do it here at the exit of turn 3? He's burning his ERS. He wants to go for it now, but look at the Shabby Sky. It's actually very quick, but you can see Shabby flashing. If the car up ahead of you flashes, it means that they have less than 10% ERS, which has actually been a feature that's been in the game for so long. But I actually only found out about it in like 2018. But it's incredible how many people still apparently do not know about it. But yeah, let's see Shabby. You can see him holding up Lars so much in that middle sector. Will Lars try a Hamilton now and send it here? No, he will not. I mean, Hamilton sent it here on Alex Albon, and it ended in tears for Alex Albon, for all the Thai fans of the sport. So Toby gets overtaken there by AJ, who does send it into that corner.
Yeah, AJ getting through on Toby. Yeah, Toby won't be too fussed about this one, just for the simple fact that AJ does have that penalty. But now Lars should get past Shabby now for third.
Yeah.
Shabby's going to try it back down the inside. So Shabby not wanting to give this place up.
Yeah, it's very tense. But Lars should be able to defend.
Oh, here comes Shabby. Around the outside.
0% ERS. Around the outside. Gonna keep it. No, Lars does keep that position. And meanwhile, it's 2-0 in France, Poland. And Mbappé has scored.
Yeah,
of course.
I was excited.
The World Cup.
I was excited for the World Cup until the group stage ended. Now I'm not so excited anymore.
I was very excited, and then I see that we face Argentina next as a Dutchie myself, and I'm not looking forward to it. But I do have the World Cup fever. I've nearly watched every single match at school. You just open up your laptop and watch it. Really, the teachers are not really bothered by it, or you grab your phone, or you watch it at home. But Lars has driven Shabby out of that 1 second range, and he only got 2.5 seconds until he's got up to Marchetto. So I think Lars can definitely fight for P2.
Yeah, and we saw it earlier. We saw earlier in the race now when Lars was closing in on Fight Me Now bot. So yeah, I wouldn't rule it out as Toby DRS, ERS straight past AJ and up into 6th place, and he's on the back of, I believe this is Mark by him, it's a lap down.
No, it's Julian. Personally, I wouldn't understand why you would keep driving even if you're a lap down. Whilst meanwhile Russell goes for an overtake on Krishy. They have driven against each other a lot in German leagues, for all I know. And the two very quick drivers now fighting for P11. And that is Island who's off. Aye. That is not good. He's a
he was closing in on Shabby. I hope there was no contact between the pair of them, but
no, I don't think so. He was very far behind Lars as well. I don't think he lost all too much with that move. But that's of course not what you want. But I'm looking at Shabby, and when will he pit? Because you can go to softs now, which no, yeah. This is the optimal time to pit for softs. Go to the end, set the fastest lap, which is 1 point regardless of which position you end up in. But the gap between Lars and Eastfront is now 5 seconds, which is not ideal. And Toby is now actually looking to go for P4 as well, while Shabby serves his 5-second penalty for speeding at pit lane, which he got earlier in the virtual safety car. And he now goes onto fresh head of softs, and he will now be looking to go for fastest lap. Whilst Probone is in as well, but he doesn't have a wing. Did I miss that? Probone doesn't have a wing anymore. He's in for softs. He was right behind Russell and Krishy, and there must have been contact, or he lost it himself into the wall. He's still alive.
He's put on a set of mediums. Yeah, I missed that as well, but he's put on a set of mediums for me.
Nah, that's... I think just panic then. But yeah, we must have missed that. I don't know, Jeff. Those are the vibes that I'm getting from this.
But you can see Marchetto and Fight Me Now bot are back within a second. That's Fight Me Now bot backed off to give Marchetto a slipstream so he doesn't get overtaken by Lars. I think they have done that. These are the ultimate team games.
The team games are coming into effect. Lars only 1.3 behind Marchetto now.
Yeah, Marchetto must have been screaming over the radio, give me a slipstream, give me help. and he's giving it there, but there's still going to be a grip difference. So I think once Lars gets in that DRS, even if you have DRS, the middle sector still has some overtaking opportunities. 2 nice hairpins where you can definitely overtake, but Chavy's already gotten past Dari. Those soft tires warm up a lot quicker than the hard tires, and he's already made 1 move there. Whilst Kishi also gets a penalty of 3
and
seconds.
that drops him out of the top 10.
Yeah. That's just really upsetting. He has a DRS straight behind him with YX Range, Rocco, Larkin. So yeah, they will all nicely profit from that, which I don't think they'll mind.
And I think Lars, pressure maybe getting to him slightly because he made a little mistake, lost a bit of time to Machado and Fight Me Now. But 1.2 seconds behind that middle sector.
Off. I saw someone go off. Who's
That's Julian.
That's a left guy, that's Julian. Oh, I was switching through, and I just saw someone absolutely slide off with immense speed in the final corner. And I got scared that it was either Lars or Eastbrand or Toby because I was spectating near that area. But it's just Julian who spun. I think he should bid now for a fresh set of softs, save up all his ERS, do 1 quali lap, and then retire, because you get 1 spot, or he retires now, but you get 1 point for position for fast lap, regardless of what position you end up in. While Shabby currently has that point because he's at 1 minute 9.085.
Well, I'll tell you what, I don't think anyone in SBS will be wanting this to happen, but what would really spice up this race? A cheeky little safety car to close it out.
Ooh. That would always be great. Of course,
Lars is here. He's in 1 second.
And that's the entertainment we were talking about. That, yeah, Lars has just been showing some incredible pace. Really, and that's great to see. But I don't know. Let's see how much he can do in this race. Although he does have DRS, he doesn't have ERS. So he now needs to save up as much ERS as possible because he's fighting against someone with 70% and 40% ERS. So those are his main troubles, and he wants to have as much ERS possible and as many gains as possible.
Well, in this middle sector, he should have the pace to kind of close up to Marchetto anyway, just by being on those mediums. For Fight Me Now bot, question is, at what point do you try to pull away to make sure you bring home the win?
Yeah, I think they will have to stay together. As long as they don't get a time penalty, they're all good. It would be kind of hilarious now if Fight Me Now bot gets a 3-second time penalty, and he has to run away and sacrifice. Like, yeah, I think that would really spice up the race if he gets a penalty now. Because Fight Me Now bot, with the ERS margin that he has, he definitely has the pace to make a big statement. Oi, oi, oi. That is not ideal for Larkin. I think, could he have side pod damage or rear wing damage? Because his front wing is still intact, and I do think that did he hit the wall?
I don't think he hit the wall.
But his tires are cooked. You can see a double lockup, which is not ideal for someone who is not really used to no ABS, having cooked tires. But both SBS drivers now on the same percentage of ERS, and Lars already on 25% ERS. He is gaining the ERS that he needs to gain. Can Lars actually fight for P2 and maybe even P1? You never know. If this is racing, everything can happen. It's not like a boring sport like snooker. Everything can happen here.
I'll tell you what, another little battle that could be brewing is Rage and Russell.
Yeah, for sure. And Toby and AJ have been fighting all the time as well, but AJ does have the time penalty, which does kind of make it irrelevant. But Russell and Rage on the same amount of ERS, I think that can definitely be a good battle. Same all tires. Yeah, that's interesting. Whilst Lars is getting pushed out of the DRS a bit because both test drivers have decided to burn their ERS simultaneously. They both have nothing now. This is a very interesting strategy to get Lars out of the DRS. It's happened. It's worked. Was Lars gets a warning there on the inside, but Lars now should easily be able to catch back up, and then they both have nothing. It's a smart idea. It's just not paid out. Was Rocco overtake Rishi, which is a really nice move. Rocco maybe gonna be mixing into the fight of Russell and Warwick's Rage. But let's keep our eyes up front, because I find this an interesting strategy, and it doesn't work.
I think they went too early with it.
They definitely went too early. Of course, it's relatively easy to save ERS around here, but they now have less ERS, so they both had more ERS up front. But Lars losing it 2 times nearly, and now it has worked the strategy, because Lars definitely does not have DRS now. You're gonna see them both burn it again. No, they're gonna save now. They're gonna... I'm confused. You might as well now push on, because he doesn't have anything, but you now allow him to somewhat get back in. I'm confused.
Well, Fight Me Now currently on 20%. You got Machado on about 10 as Rage gets through on Russell. So we mentioned this battle brewing. The battle has begun between these two.
Yeah, but Rocco behind there, he is licking his fingers.
Oh!
And no, he's not licking his fingers, because he just stakes out Russell there, breaking too late and spinning Russell around. And that is really unfortunate for the NLR team, because they already got one spinner of Brabone, losing a lot of time and a wing. And now Russell has been spun round again as well by Rocco. Rocco does not seem to be giving back the position, although he knows it's his fault. He does not think that will be beneficial off of him. I think he should let him pass, because surely that's bigger than a 3-second time penalty that we'll get for this.
Yeah, I think Rocco should let him back through as Crisci almost loses the car there. I think Rocco may have wing damage as well, so I think he's just going to drop back to Russell anyway and then give it back to him.
No, I don't think he got wing damage from that.
You sure? On my end, on my end it was massive.
Yeah, it was a heavy hit, but the game doesn't normally give out damage for that. Both end plates are still on, so I think it's all good still. But yeah, we're now heading towards the final lap. Machado is very close on Fight Me Now bot, and I think if they separate a little bit in the middle sector with the dirty air, Lars can definitely get in, but Lars has burned everything. I don't think Lars will be able to make another position work out. Shabby Mainwell overtaking Larkin there, 4P12. Gonna attempt to get some points here. We'll get one more position off of Leighton, but I think that will be it. Los Brabone gets 5 seconds speeding in pit lane. He's gonna go for fastest lap, but he's a lap too late with it. Or is he in time? He should be in, no, unless he gets leapt here.
Nah, he's good, I think.
Yeah, he's just about good, yeah. Yeah. Though the Haas drivers are coming really dangerously close there. Lars, does he have DRS? He does have DRS, but he's on 0% ERS. Will they fight for the win? Machado and Fight Me Now bot.
I don't think
there's also a drivers' championship you want to keep in mind. It's nice to win, of course. You can brag about it, say, I'm better than you, but I think they've really played the team game here. Was Raul Marcos for the fastest lap at an 8.7. He currently has the fastest lap point, which Brabone wants, of course, to take away from him.
F1 Crisci all over the back of Rocco as they come on the exit of turn 3. Final lap overtake here for Crisci. He's looking to the inside. He's going to outbrake Rocco.
Oh. Yeah, he's done it. He's pulled it off, to be fair. But there's still one more very long straight, which now the top 3 is heading to. Most ERS is for Fight Me bot. Then you got Machado and then VER Lars. I think it will stay like this unless someone makes a major mistake in the final corner, pushing it too much. But no, I think we will be having an SBS 1-2 here, because Fight Me Now bot has drove an incredibly well race. Firstly helped by Machado, but now he has had to help Machado in the second half of the race. Fight Me Now bot wins for SBS with Machado in P2 and VER Lars in third. Kurt Eastmans with a spin gets it down to 2P4 still. Then you get Toby and AJ by 24 with the penalty will still be ahead. Off of Warx Rage. I thought he had to push in the end, but that is just relentless.
Russell, a little bit. If that straight was a little bit longer, I think Rocco may have just pinched it. But Russell finishing ahead of Rocco.
Drag race towards the line there. Shabby getting P11, Larkin P12, Dimmix, Leighton with a 6-second time penalty, dropping all the way down to P14. You see Dari, IRT really hasn't been impressive. They 4 points in the championship. okay, P15, P18 is not the result that you want. But Probo now gonna try and get the fastest lap, because Russell has already left the session. So I think we need to make some screenshots there now for the race results. Also, I need to sneeze, but Probo finishes the race.
Bless you.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, that was a very impressive race from SBS, but also a very impressive race from Lars.
Yeah, and Rage gets the in-game driver of the day. Honestly, it was a great race from Rage, and he climbed a lot of positions to get up there.
Yeah, of course. I think Rocco drove a good race as well, crashing out in qualifying and then having the confidence to push his car all the way back up there. But let's firstly focus on the top three. You can see the Haas driver there walking out with his steering wheel there, pretending like he's driving the car, also on the podium. But yeah, those are your podium sitters. Fight Me Now bot. And then the other SPS teammate. SPS 1-2, I think that's massive for them.
Yeah, absolutely massive. And I think for Lars, he may be kicking himself a little bit because he was right there with them with a couple of laps to go. And that one mistake meant that he had to use everything to try and catch back up.
Yeah, that was really unfortunate for them. But yeah, let's now go to the final standings, because the guys that qualified 1, 2, 3 actually finished 1, 2, 3 as well. Which, if Lars didn't have such a poor start, I think this race would have been very different. Because he definitely had the pace to stay with the top runners. And he had Eastland coming all the way from P12, but yeah, Warwick Rage going from P18. Is he deserved driver of the day? I would say so.
Yeah, I would say so as well. To be honest, Fight Me Now bot didn't put a foot wrong all race. Machetto, again, also didn't put a foot wrong all race. He just got held up on his pit strategy behind Shabby. Toby, a good recovery after...
Yeah. After being spun round at the beginning, dropping all the way back down to P15. Kishi, he was all the way last, and he drove a good comeback. So I think this was just a race of comebacks, and the guys that started up front just pretty much disappeared in the midfield. Everyone has had a moment, spun or got a penalty, and this is just how it ended up, with a massive gap to the front.
Yeah, so we'll run you through the order now. Is Fight Me Bot taking victory ahead of Marchetto in second place, Lars in third, Esbrand in fourth, with Toby in fifth, AJ in sixth, Rage in seventh, Russell in eighth, Rocco in ninth, and Christy rounding out the top 10. Outside the top 10, it is Shabby, Larkin, Demax, Leighton, Dari, Pro Bono, Mark, who was one lap down, and by the way, Pro Bono did get himself the fastest lap of the race, so we did manage to steal it at the end. And our non-finishers was Julian and CPI Noxie, who unfortunately crashed out. Noxie crashed out early on in this race, and Julian came into the pits and retired at the end.
Yep. I think we've been blessed in this race. I think it was a really good, entertaining race with a lot happening. But I have enjoyed it. It's been a good one. So do we do podium interviews, or what's the plan?
I don't tend to do podium interviews anymore, but I think because of Russell leaving the lobby, I think we are stuck on this screen right now. So. Yep. With that, we'll bring an end to the stream. Obviously, a massive congratulations to Fight Me Now bot for the victory, and to SBS on the 1-2. Lars, a great race, and well deserved on the podium. My driver of the day is going to Rage, though, from P18 to P7. Fantastic drive from him. But yeah, that's it from me. Have you got any final closing words?
No, not really. I think I've said it all. We've seen it all. So yeah, a massive congratulations to the podium and everyone else who put in their time and efforts through this day. And we missed a great match of France-Poland, which is now 3-0 because Mbappe scored again.
Yeah, but the one thing we can do though is promote for the next race, which will be round number 7 at the Baku City Street Circuit for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. So next week we'll be back for Baku. Probably not us in the comms box, but Baku next week will be a very intriguing one. But until then, guys, I've been Mike. He's been FVR Feynman, and we'll catch you next time we catch you. Goodbye.